Hi all, and welcome back to the shed. Today we're going to go over how to put together an aluminum bus bar. The reason why I'm not using copper is that it is not readily available in the town I live in. It's also very expensive to order offline. And I was like, what the heck? Aluminum is available, and it's electrically rated at the 61.4 or whatever it is. Initially, I was going to use some angle iron, and I think it would have worked fine. It matched all the specs via online calculator for amperage and all that. But then when I was in Lowe's or Ace Hardware or something like that, I staggered across some 1" by 1/8" flat stock aluminum. And this is like the first bus bar that I made. I messed up and I decided to delete all that out of the video. What I did was I drilled a hole for positive and negative, and I made 2 of them. I was going to have a positive running to one bus bar and then a negative from the battery running to the other bus bar. But I was just in the mode, and I'd marked everything out on this little jig that I made, and it was a long day, and I ended up drilling holes for both. I'm glad I caught the mistake. I wouldn't have hooked them up, you know, both positive and negative to the same bus bar. I was clear in the head about that. But I made a mistake on this, and I just don't like it. So what I ended up doing was correcting that. I'll show you that in the video on how I actually made these 2 aluminum bus bars. What I'm doing is that I'm going to put in, I've already cleared off my counter. For those of you that have been following along, I had 3 eco-worthy batteries set up here. I are 2, and then I added a 3rd, and then I've got them down below here attached to the bus bar in order to complete the set and kind of maximize my system. Eco-worthy found 1 more of these batteries for me, thankfully, because that was a bit of a chore to find one. And I'm already going to hook it up. But first, let me show you the underneath part, okay? Because I'm rather proud of it. And honestly, with the bus bar system, everything seems to charge more evenly, and it seems to charge faster. I'm really getting some great results here. And with 4 200 amp hour 12.8 battery LiFo lithium iron phosphate batteries, I'm going to have over 10,000 kilowatt hours of stored power. I love it. So let's go ahead and just check it out, you guys. Okay. Okay, so underneath my workbench here, I built a little platform there to put the batteries on top of, and you can see that I've got some rails here that the battery's going to slide in, and then in the back there I've actually got a stopper, and then I'll put another stopper here in the front so that way, you know, with vibration of being in and out of the shed, even if we have a minor earthquake, the batteries will pretty well stay put. We'll probably strap them down also. Now I've got hardy backer on the back, and I also have hardy backer up on the lid there. We are going to put it on the sides and the bottom, but I ran short. I had some other stuff here at home, but it was pretty messed up from getting rained on, and it was some old scrap. So I figured we're just going to go with what we got right now. As you can see, currently I'm not using hardy backer for anything. I've never had a problem. If you hook this stuff up correctly, it's not going to get too hot. The hottest thing really is your controller up there. Once that controller starts getting hot, you got to watch out. That's why I've got a fan up there. On those big sun days, I just leave that fan running all the time. So just to kind of look at the battery here, we've got a this eco-worthy right here, so LiFePO. You know, it's actually, I've had some really good luck with this battery so far. I've been running them since last August, and now I've got a 3rd one. That's why I'm doing the bus bars, and I feel that I'm going to continue to have good luck. Hopefully I can procure a 4th one and have a really good solid kind of a backup generator for the house, power for my shop, and all that stuff. And again, remember guys, everything I do is all these projects definitely powered by Renogy, panels, inverter, and controller. And it's been one heck of a good system, I can't lie. So anybody who's knocking Renogy, I'm saying, maybe you didn't go about it correctly. So we'll get back to that later though. And in the future, I am going to have some Victron projects also. We'll get more into that later, okay? Okay, so as you can see, I've got 3 batteries down here now, and I have them separated via some wooden slats here, and then I have a wooden slat in the back as stoppers, so they're pretty locked in there right now. What I did was I took my bus bar and I kind of laid it out and centered it up, and then I went ahead and marked each side where the wooden slats were, so it'd be nice and centered and even on both sides, right? Okay, and then I went ahead and with the battery, I actually used a wooden jig. Let me show you how I did that, okay? But for right now, I'll show you there's an empty space over there. And that's where the final battery is going to go. I've got a couple leads already set up. And you can see up in there, I've got all the positive lines on the battery from the charging side. I've got fuses on them, 100 amp fuses. We're not going to exceed anything here, okay? Okay, so you can see this is the battery we're going to install now, and I've got the positive and the negative here. Now, instead of pulling a tape measure on there, because most tape measures are made of metal unless you get one of the cloth ones for sewing or medical purposes, basically you don't want to use a metal one because you could short these out, and then if your BMS isn't working properly, you have other battery failure, yada yada yada. So I just use like a stick of wood, and I put it up like that, right? And I kind of centered that stick of wood onto the battery there, and then I took a trusty pin and I was just like right here and right here we're going to put a hole. Now the mistake I made before was that with the bus bar here, let's move this out of the way so I don't spark anything out. So I had this measurement here, and with the old bus bar I just was in a mood. I'd been working for about 12 straight hours on this project and other ones, and I set this down like this, and then I started marking every hole here and drilling every hole. I didn't need that. I just needed to do one on one bus bar and then the other on the other bus bar, right? And that's what I did with the new bus bars. So in a sense, I just took it up and I centered it with the bus bar marked, and then I centered it where the batteries were going to go, and I made my mark. You're going to see that in the video, okay? So let's go ahead and install that other battery. Okay, so we're going to start with a smaller drill bit and go ahead and just kind of get it started, make it easier to pilot the larger one. Okay, now we'll go ahead and hit it up with the 3/8 bit. I have 5/16 bolts for the lugs, but they seem to fit into the 3/8 real nice, so we're going to just stick with that and not force it too much. Okay, so I've got the holes drilled. This looks a lot cleaner. I really like this now. And now we're going to do, you know, a couple down here for charge and discharge, and a couple down here for charge and discharge. Hey, that's about enough, you guys. Come on now. Okay, we have all the necessary holes, so I think I'm just going to, let's wipe it down a little bit. Give her a quick sand to break that coating off of there. And then we can start. Okay, damn dogs be a barking. Okay, so the new bus bars are complete. I'm going to include my mistake in the video. just to let you guys know, everybody know that people do make mistakes. It's our ability to catch the mistakes before something goes wrong. Essentially, I just have way too many holes in this. I don't need this many holes. We have a positive and a negative, or vice versa. Positive and negative. And this one I was putting like a hole for every positive and negative. Not needed. Unfortunately, I used up all of my heat shrink tubing on the bus bars that we're not going to use anymore. Well, for this project, I will use them for another project I have coming up, so it's not all wasted. But what I'm going to use, and I know people are going to bark at me for this, and I don't care. I know what this stuff is. I know what it's capable of. So this is a ProGuard gaffer tape. I used to use it when I was doing stage lighting and stage tech stuff. It has a heat rating that is actually exceeds shrink tubing or heat shrink tubing. It'll basically go up to 200 degrees before it starts breaking down, and I think 170 degrees continuous. My thoughts are, if this bus bar gets that hot, we have much bigger problems than this breaking down, because that means the controller is not doing its job and shutting things down. Basically, the controller is supposed to shut everything down when things start hitting a temperature of, I don't know, around 108 degrees or something of that nature. So we're going to go with the gaffer tape. I have a couple different colors here for positive and negative, and we'll just go ahead and get started on that, okay? So basically, I'll find the end here. I really like gaffer tape or gaff tape. I've used it extensively in the past. Like I said, I don't use it anymore because, well, I'm not in the business anymore. The thing about theater is, kind of an old saying is, whenever you have theater, there's always drama. And I got tired of the drama. Now, in saying that, obviously you have drama no matter what you're doing, and in my case, I just didn't want to deal with it anymore, and I try to minimize drama in the most effective way I can, and oftentimes that requires me to remove myself from situations, and that is just the way it goes. So you get the point. We're going to go ahead and just wrap this up in between every single hole here just for added protection, okay? Tune in. Okay, so you can see that I have the two bus bars taped with the gaffer's tape, and the gaffer's tape is very similar to like the old tape they used back in the knob and wire days. It actually has a higher temp rating than your standard shrink tube, heat shrink tube, whatever you want to call it. For the hot bus bar, I did put in the orange gaffer tape on top of the black, so that way I can identify it as the hot bus bar, the positive side. Now, how I'm going to connect that is basically, when we're looking underneath, you're going to see two bus bars. One's going to be offset from the other, and they're going to be, approximately, 2 inches difference up and down, like vertically, and then also about 3 inches or 1.5 inches horizontally. Sorry, it'd be like that. So basically, I've got this tubing here, and so just in short, a lag bolt. I'm just going to use a lag for this project here. I've got backing back behind the wall and all that. So washer and a lag, and that'll feed through something like this. Nice solid fit there. I like that. More contact the better as far as I'm concerned. And then of course, I'm going to cut all this to length here in a minute, but then this will slip inside of that and act as a spacer, and I'll cut it to length. I don't know if you can see that or not, but we're going to go ahead and give it a shot there. I am going to cut this outside. I just don't want to throw aluminum fragments all over the shop. I cleaned up quite a bit this morning trying to get rid of the shavings, and I'd rather have it outside. So let's check right back in, okay? Okay, so I'm back, and I had to round up some extra fuses. I ordered 4 from Amazon, but they only brought 2. These fuses are rated at 100 amps a piece to protect each and every battery. I've only got 3 batteries right now, but I will have 4. I have one ordered, and of this particular eco-worthy battery, I think they're discontinuing them and moving on, so it was kind of a scramble to find the last one maybe. I have the 2 bus bars taped and ready to go. I have the spacers cut and ready to go also. So basically how this is going to work is that on each and every positive connection here, I'm going to have like one of my lugs attached to it. Could go either way, I suppose. And then we'll bolt those together, and the wire will go to the positive side, okay? So that'll be pretty straightforward there, and I'm going to mount them underneath now. I have another video that explains how I crimp the wires and size them accordingly and all that stuff. I'll put a link in the video description regarding that. This is of course pretty straightforward with the spacers. For the negative terminal or bus bar, it's going to stand a little bit farther out, so that way the wires can snake up underneath to the positive terminal. And essentially all the wires for the positive terminal are going to be of the same length, and all the wires of the negative terminal are going to be of the same length, which is pretty important when it comes to resistance and, you know, dealing with amperage and voltage. So we can get everything as even as we possibly can, so that way when it comes time to charge, everything's charging fairly even. So let's go ahead and get started on that, okay? And then what we'll do for here, of course, like, so this is going to be closer to the wall overall, so that'll come through like that, and then we're going to have a little spacer like this, and that will, we will also have a washer on top of that for protection, and I think we'll be in good shape there. I might do a double washer there. Let's see how that works. Well, maybe not, maybe so. We will see. Okay, I think you guys get the general idea there. Each and every one of these will be done. We're going to have a lag with the spacer on it right here. Don't really think I need the double washer on that side, so we'll flick that sucker off. Just like that. That can drop into place. Do need a washer on this side though. And this is all going to get attached. So I'm going to go ahead and get going on this, and we'll just go ahead and forward on to the next reel here. Okay, so basically, you know, my bus bar is going to go right up in here. I've already made a mark where the lag's going to go, and I'm going to use the impact driver. I'm going to drive that in with the spacer in place. I need the room. I can't get the camera in here while I do it, so you'll just have to trust me on this one. And then we'll move towards getting the second bus bar in, okay? Okay, so you can see that I've got like the my 3 batteries in. These are all the eco-worthy 200 amp hour, 12.8 volts. I've got a 4th one coming, and I've got the terminals opened up over there for it. I'm going to hook it up now. Nothing is hooked up. I actually got to rewire one thing, and then we'll go over what I did, okay? So, sorry about skipping right to this step. I'm pressed for time right now, and just had to get her done. Okay. Okay, so you can see how I've got this empty slot here. I have a positive in red, negative in black. I've got the ends taped right now so we don't at least reduce the risk of short circuiting. And I'm going to slide the battery right in there. We'll get it hooked up. Should slide in nice and easy there. Just about like that. And then we'll take this here. Oh, this is going to be a beautiful battery bank here. This about puts the system to the max here. I like it. Slide that right on back like that. There we go. Okay, now let's go ahead and get to fastening the battery up. Okay, so what we'll do is just kind of strip that off like that. Go ahead and get this into place here. Whoops. Okay. We'll take this one. You'll probably see a little bit of a zapper there. Oh, nothing today. And just to remind you, all these batteries are fully charged today. I'll have to reset the core 1 in my battery shunt, or 1 core in my battery shunt. I've got the Renogy. They used to call it the Smart Shunt. Now I think they call it the Shunt 300 or something like that. Either way, I'm good with it. Where did I put my... There we go. Now this is a careful part because we do have exposed wires down here in Busbar. We don't want to have this ratchet actually short out on the Busbar or another terminal. Really put that BMS to a test there, basically. All right. Perfecto. Now, that, my friends, is a Busbar setup. And I'll clean up some of the wires in the back. We're going to be adding another controller in the future. We're really going to max this system out here to lock everything in case of earthquake or vibration or anything from walking in and out. I'm going to have another piece of molding that'll run along right here to lock the batteries in that way. Then I'll strap it over the top, and these batteries will be secure. Of course, I'm going to finish that all out with hardy board for fire rating, and maybe even put in like a little fuse operated fire extinguisher there just to buy some time in case something goes wrong. All right, guys, that kind of wraps up the battery Busbar situation. And you know, mistake made with the old Busbar here, which will get used in a different scenario. I've got other projects coming up. This dog here, you guys can see, this is my buddy Frankie. He's a heck of a guy, and got Cooper out there. So at the end of the day, you know, I've kind of maxed this system out. I've got 8 100-watt Renogy panels. I've got right now just one 60-watt controller, the Renogy Rover 60-amp controller. I've got a 2,000-watt inverter. I like this one because I can hook it up and see it on my the DC Home app and the Renogy 1 core. And now I have, you know, the eco-worthy batteries, which, you know, I apologize, Renogy, I just can't afford your batteries right now. And these batteries really seem to do the test. They are doing really well right now. They are fairly inexpensive for big batteries, and they are as advertised. That's all I got to say. They put out what they're supposed to. Okay, we'll go back more on some eco-worthy style batteries here in the future. When it comes to the Busbar situation, I know I rushed through some parts to make this video shorter. If you guys do in fact have questions, just ask me. I'll go over it with you in a different video. Even make a more specific video of making the Busbars. I've already tried these out for a while. This has been an ongoing process while I wait for the final battery to come in, and they work great. Pretty soon we'll be locking up the battery cave down here. What are you guys doing in here? Go on, get out of here. Go on, go. And we'll be locking up the battery cave so that way it's not exposed to the elements, and we have fireproofing all the way around. But that'll be another project, okay? Until then, thanks for tuning in, you guys. Oh, and I want to remind you, there is a giveaway coming up soon. I promise you that. I'm just trying to work out some logistics with YouTube and make sure I'm not breaking any rules. I don't want to lose my channel, so we're doing this by the book, okay? Thanks for tuning in, guys. This is The Shed. Thank you for watching. Bye now.